greasy berries had almost reached my mouth when I realized I had said the wrong thing. How had I ended up at this Perkins in Chaska in this frozen moment at the front doorstep of a shame house? Chaska, deep in the whatever of the West Metro, was not my destination of choice. I had been laid off from Wells Fargo during the recession back when we thanked Bush instead of Obama for our misfortunes. My roommate Jen had fed my resume to our company's HR department and they ate it up. Jen wanted me to help her. She wanted me to help her pay her rent to her, and she wanted to help me because she was my friend. Better the devil you know who already has all their flaming hot junk in their house. Jen's company was in Chaska. I asked her, "What's a Chaska?" She explained it's almost Chanhassen, which is where Paisley Park is, and you can drive by Prince every day. Prince was still alive at the time. I started at this job like I do most jobs. I looked through all the cabinets for supplies, food, secrets. Connecting with coworkers had never been a priority. I had lived as a temp worker for so long that I had unloaded my humanity years ago. To travel lighter, to float soullessly through hollow break rooms near and far, I was a grown-up military brat who didn't go anywhere to make friends. Jen was my only friend at the Chaska office. I struggled then and now with the impression that my personality is a burden to bear and that I owe it to my friends to minimize the burden. I can act a certain type of way with friends. They are a beacon of understanding and grace, and I tend to suffocate them. I kept my distance from Jen by doing my best impression of a professional, respectful person. Jen had another friend at work named Danielle. This friend had known Jen for many years. She inspired a pinch of jealousy in me as I have an impeccable sense of when I am outranked. Her deep voice and lack of eye contact and bad fashion choices told me that she was a cool person. One must tread lightly with a cool person. Danielle and Jen shared a special bond. They ate at Perkins on purpose several times a week. Sometimes Jen invited me, sometimes she did not. Danielle never invited me. To invite me, she would have had to speak to me, which she never seemed to do. I always want to befriend difficult people because self-sabotage is sexy. My true challenge was to reject the challenge. Not everyone has to like me, even though they should. One day, I broke. I failed at eating the salad I brought. I looked at it and put it back in the fridge. I did everything that I could. There was no other food for me. Jen asked me to have lunch with her and Danielle at Perkins. I said yes, with the caveat that she would have to guide me through ordering. Perkins is a labyrinth of cholesterol in which I feared I would lose myself. What do entrees come with? Can I order a la carte? Can I bring food from a better restaurant and still sit with my friend and her friend? We ordered. Jen chatted. Danielle chatted back. Jen and I chatted about stand-up and podcasts. I mentioned that I had started a new podcast. Danielle perked up. I like podcasts. What's your podcast about? My eyeballs went numb. This was my chance. This cool person could be my friend. The distance between us felt the shortest it had ever been. I was worthy and might continue to be worthy. So I said, my podcast is like Mystery Science Theater 3000, but with Law & Order SVU episodes. I said as I scooped my greasy berries up with my spoon. I bring a new guest on every week and we tell jokes while watching each episode. The podcast is called SV Who? Danielle set down her fork. My spoon stayed in my mouth. She said, "What? Why would you do something like that? That is offensive. That is a show where people die and women get hurt. That podcast would offend me." I said, "Okay." She said, "I would not listen to that podcast." I said, "Okay." I thought, nobody listens to my podcast. That's not the point of podcasts. I didn't know the point of podcasts. I still don't and probably never will. But Danielle wasn't done. Why don't you do a podcast about CSI? You can make fun of David Caruso's sunglasses, like how he takes them off. Like Perkins, CSI is foreign to me, but I suspect that people also die and women get hurt on CSI because it's not a sitcom and it's not the Kardashians. Jen didn't save me. The server dropped our checks and we sat stewing in our adrenaline waiting for our cards to be run. I was stunned at Danielle's outrage. I am always stunned by the outrage I cause. Outrage for me is like Easter. By the time I notice it's coming, there's nothing I can do to stop it. I don't get offended. Have people hurt me with their words? Yes. Have I told them so? Not often enough, but yes. Feeling offended seems more like a statement, an advocacy, as in, I am offended by this action and it shouldn't exist, and I am very staunch in this belief. My staunch belief is that people don't read enough or listen enough. Passive consumption is a problem for me. Yet, if that were the case, why was I at Perkins? Why did I passively accept that I had offended someone by the weapon of mass destruction of our time, the podcast? Because this person was a friend of a friend. Jen mattered to me. I can truly say that I love her and don't want to fuck up things with her at work or with her friendships. Peace is not passive. Peace is real. Peace was my choice. After the Perkins lunch, Danielle began speaking to me. She started asking me to stay later and perform even more menial tasks. I ended up stuffing envelopes even though I was a project manager with an actual skill set. Danielle went so far as to stop the elevator doors from closing as I was about to leave, just so she could chastise me for how I pivoted an Excel spreadsheet. I moved on to a job in the big city a few months later. Jen and I are still friends. Jen and Danielle are not. Thanks, Obama. Jen doesn't remember what she ever liked about Danielle. She's always been like that, Jen told me over a glass of Chardonnay and some cheap weed. Maybe someday when I'm not around, Jen will reminisce about me and SB Who and say, I never listened to that podcast either. Sorry, not sorry.
Hi, we are the Reservoir Frogs, and we're going to tell you a story of high ambition but low morals. And listening to the wonderful story by Elizabeth, we pulled a couple of items out of that story. First, we pulled a location. Perkins, of course. And then it was an object.
Podcasts.
Okay, sure. That could be an object, I suppose. And finally, a relationship.
Suffocating friendship.
Suffocating friendship. We're Reservoir Frogs.
Hi, I'm Danny, and I'm recording my podcast here in the local Perkins here, enjoying this wonderful, tremendous 12 here. And I just got to say here, I mean, I don't know. I'm in this episode of my podcast, I really want to talk about how my friends need to be better friends, because I can find some amazing people if I just meander myself down to the Denny's.
Hi, I'm Dan Jackson, the better Dan here. I work at the local hardware store, and I like to make sure that everybody has the tools that they need to do the projects that they try to do. If only I could get my friend Danny to be a better man.
I'm Carrie Sandvig. I am the best friend you will ever have. Like, literally everyone says that, but I don't know where they go. So I just want to, I have like 100 best friends, but I just want to find one of them.
My name's Danny, and look, I'm really tired of talking shit about my friends in this microphone, but they make it so easy.
Better Dan. That's all you need to know.
I'm Carrie, and I'm really great, and I just want someone else to know that.
We open on a Chaska Perkins. There is, in the corner, set up a podcasting station. This guy has one of these sweet USB mics with like a piece of cloth in front of it, so you know it's legit. He is interviewing a friend dressed in a sharp Ace Hardware smock.
So Dan, I hear you spend a lot of time around tools. But maybe like, what could you do as a friend to stop being such a tool? Get it?
You're so funny, Danny.
I know. That's why I have at least like a dozen downloads in this podcast every week. I have listeners, Dan. People who listen to me.
Do they now? Well,
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you that I sold a wrench yesterday. Sold a wrench to a man who was going to go and fix his own bathroom.
Look, I mean, I didn't pay for Home Service Plus. I get it. We're still leaking. I mean, my house has been leaking for a week. So what?
And you don't feel like a real man would fix it himself?
I mean, maybe I don't subscribe to the thing that working with tools is a thing of like masculinity or not. Why are we conforming to gender norms here, Dan? That's why maybe you're not the best Dan here.
Don't get it.
Danny, you gonna order?
So like, I know that we just met like an hour ago, but I really want to go to the mall, so I was hoping you'd come with me and we could try on outfits and it would be so great. Do you want to come with me?
We are in the interior of a temp agency. Everything is just a depressing color of beige, and there's more file cabinets than people.
Oh, but like, you're my recruiter, so you have to. Hey, do you want to go to the mall with me? I want someone to tell me if I look really awesome in outfits or not. I'll buy you lunch.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Do you want to go to the mall with me?
Ace Hardware in Chaska is clearly having a hard time. There are immaculate rows of tools. The floor you could eat a buffet off of if you wanted to for some reason. But the one thing this hardware store doesn't have is anybody in it. But Dan.
Man, I just wish people would learn to fix their own things. I don't always gotta call a plumber or an electrician or, you know, people that know what the heck they're doing. They don't sell nearly as many tools, and people don't do what they're supposed to be. Oh,
Excuse me.
yeah.
So, do you fix phones? It doesn't ring. And I was hoping maybe you could fix that for me. It says tools on the front, so I thought maybe you could help me with that.
There's a giant motivational poster on the wall. Learn to fix anything. Anything being way too bold.
Technically, this is a hardware store, and we fix like water heaters and dryers and maybe a car.
Okay, but the guy at the phone store, he said it wasn't the software that was broken with my phone, it was the hardware. Yeah. so I came here.
Well, have you charged it up recently?
Yeah. I did. So the thing is, I went to my work. I got a new job. I have a temp job, and my recruiter, she's like, I'll call you tomorrow, and then we'll go to your first day. And well, that's today, and she didn't call, and I don't know where to go. So I need her to get me to my job, and I need you to make my phone ring.
Danny, did you make any friends today?
No. In fact, they shorted me a chicken tender at Perkins. Yeah.
A whole chicken tender.
Whole chicken tender. Yeah.
Do I need to go in there and talk to them?
I already talked about it on my podcast.
Oh.
So literally dozens of people are all going to hear about it already.
Look, honey, no one listens to your podcast. No one listens to any
It was
podcast.
like 7,000 downloads.
Oh. Are you sure those aren't Chinese bots? I mean, we've been over this.
I guess I don't know. I haven't looked at the Google Analytics.
Oh, why don't you just try stand up? Stand up is where I met your father, and it's kind of the family business if business didn't have any money in it. I mean, you don't need these people.
Wait, I thought you said you met at improv classes.
Barry, get in here. Barry.
What?
Well, we're going to listen to the interview.
Oh. Oh my God, is this Danny's podcast?
Yeah, you interviewed me.
Oh my God. Like, this is the one he does in the Perkins.
Yeah.
Oh God. He asked me to be on that show once.
Feel sorry for him, so I decided to do it.
Oh, why? You shouldn't be humoring him. Nobody listens to podcasts.
Oh, he said he got 12 downloads.
Hello, this is corporate. It's great to see you guys hard at work. Up off your chairs, please. So, upper management has been consulting with podcast, and they found that sitting in chairs is bad for business. Listen, guys, business is way down. People just aren't fixing things. So, we really need to sell more. Okay?
This is Chasco. Nobody fixes things here. We see the Perkins is a bustle with activity. There are people happily having lunch, and in the back there is a sad podcasting booth, and an even sadder booth with another person.
So this is episode 32, the third one this week, the Friday one. I know it's my listeners' favorite one. I don't have a guest for this week, though. I was hoping I could just have someone just kind of stumble in, but... Reggie, are you sure you don't want to be on it?
I told you, don't talk to me while I'm at work.
Just come on.
Hey, listen, you know, you can't have this Chardonnay in here. But it seems like a little more Chardonnay for $25.
Yes, great. Thank you. I love it. Great. I'm so glad the Applebee's people understand. It's a way better restaurant. Okay, so I've got the Applebee's people to bring in my illegal Chardonnay, which is all great and fine. But what, listeners, are we going to have as our subject matter for today? I don't know.
Tacos.
Some new listener suggested tacos. I wonder what this new listener would like to contribute to this discussion of tacos, one of the greatest food treats that they don't have at Perkins here, by the way.
Oh, tacos they're awful. That's why they don't sell them here.
Oh. Well, is there something you'd suggest they sell here?
Mini tacos?
How are mini tacos different than tacos?
I don't know.
You should come closer to this. Okay, so here's the microphone.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
Oh my gosh, no one's ever given me one of these before.
Okay, so elaborate more about the tacos.
So my name is Carrie, and I have like 100 best friends.
Okay.
So do you wanna like hang out?
I mean, totally. You're here, right here.
Danny, have you been seeing your Google Analytics?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that last podcast. I think people listened to it. This might be the first podcast in history that people listened to.
Oh my. Do you think I can start talking to stamps.com?
I think you could do better than that.
Casper mattresses?
I think you might go daddy level.
Other podcasts on my podcast?
I take back everything I said about you being a failure. I take back everything I've said about you not being my son.
Oh my God, do you think the How Stuff Works Network will take me now?
They might.
Danny. No.
Look, I'm a big time podcaster now. I should be sitting on the same level as you, Mr. Tim the Toolman Taylor. Oh, you got that reference though, huh?
I did grow up in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Tell by those pictures of you in Janko jeans you did.
Well, cool.
So, what is it you wanted to see me, although not sit at the same level as me?
Well, I just wanted to let you know that I listened to your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a dork.
You still listen to it, though.
Yeah, I listened to it with Barry. All we did was laugh. Made it a drinking game. Every time he said something dumb, we took a drink.
There was this podcast going on. It's been all over the internet. And I think he's in your marketing district.
Really?
Really. I need you to get your hardware people. Get in with this guy. Find out who he is.
Okay, but
Or
so
else.
my podcast is so dumb then. Okay, you listen to the thing where we talked about corkscrews, right? That's a thing you sell in a tool store, right? Corkscrew's a tool.
Portrait. Can I just watch what's going on here?
Yeah. So me and my new friend here, we're gonna record episode 48.
And you're recording it right here in the
Yeah.
hardware
Mhm.
store.
Right.
Gradually, more space has been consumed by the podcast. Tables in the Perkins are being pushed aside.
Yeah. So this episode, I don't know. We should talk about this episode.
We should talk about, because you're my best friend now, and you told me what a podcast was, I listen to every single podcast in existence, and my favorite ones are about murders.
Murder is popular right now.
There's so many. There's so many about how you
Let's just say they're killing it.
how you
No, they didn't like that one either.
you can do murder and get away with it.
Can you believe his podcast is just taking off? I didn't really think he had it in him.
No, I just got fired from the damn hardware store.
What?
Yeah.
What? Why? What?
They said I didn't sell enough tools. Something about somebody wanting to come in and have a corkscrew. I was like, we don't sell fucking corkscrews at the hardware store. And they said that I didn't treat them well. Wasn't good customer service.
They can't fire you. I'm the only other employee in
need things fixed. And then you can sell hardware. You know how you should find some friends? You should listen to a podcast. This guy knows how to make friends. Yeah.
Wait.
So our corporate store is partnering with the podcast guy, and we're gonna host the podcast right here in the hardware store. And you guys are gonna figure out how to have friends help friends fix shit. Okay?
You gotta talk to Danny. You gotta talk to him. He can make this better.
So, Dan, do you want to maybe like stuff some of the envelopes from some of the responding to listener mail that we've been getting? Can't answer all of them anymore now. Like it used to be that we just kind of had made up listener mail, but now like we get so many of them.
You're the greatest ever. Your voice. Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I drew a stick figure of you. It was cute.
Some of the letters are to me. Did you see that?
Oh my god, yeah, look at that one.
I want Danny. You two?
What?
They want you two to get together.
Oh, I mean, we're like best
What should I
friends.
say?
I don't know what else you would
Yeah.
do.
Can't we just have a platonic relationship?
I just
That
Guy?
This is my friend.
You brought him?
Yes! I didn't make him up.
I didn't think you had real friends. I didn't think you had real friends.
Why would I make that up?
Well, it's a temp agency. Nobody has real friends here.
Oh, okay.
Why not?
Well, this is my friend. His name is Danny, and I think he's gonna work here too.
Danny, where do you want the boom mic?
Oh, if you could just like get it closer here, because this is like a really like it's gonna be a deep moment here, where they're gonna hire me onto this thing. It's gonna be like an undercover boss thing.
God, my life sucks.
Danny, hi.
Hi.
I'm Charisse.
Charisse.
I've been a huge fan of your podcast ever since, I don't know, last week.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you've just been like part of the new 10,000 subscribers and whatnot.
Yeah. Why don't we talk about it over lunch?
Excuse me, Charisse. I think you're wearing my shirt.
But I heard Danny from the Friend podcast was. God, Martha, why you gotta do this right now?
You know what? You're fired. You're not going to be a temp here anymore. I'm her friend.
Barry!
What, Dan? I don't got time for you. There's customers just pouring in the door.
Getting tired of this Danny shit.
Hey, I don't have time for your problems anymore. They made me manager. There are so many people pouring in that door, and they look to me now, Dan. They look to me now.
I need a washer for my garden hose.
I have so many washers, I know exactly what you need, and I will be there in just 1 second to take care of it. Seriously?
Are you gonna help me strip the wires on his boom mic or not?
I've got more important things going on. I've got people who need me.
I need you.
And I needed you. Yeah. If only you'd been nice to me like that week before I asked you to be on my podcast and hadn't been such a dick about it. You could have had your tool life. You could have had your wonderful Fertoni Ace hardware rising up the ranks.
Here's your mic, Danny.
Maybe I don't want this life anymore. It's all I got. It's all I got.
Tell your people.
No, for once I don't want to tell them something. For once I
Just use the fucking mic.
Danny, we were going to inform you, we have picked, not haven't, but we have picked another podcaster to represent the hardware store. So unfortunately, not fortunately, unfortunately, we will no longer be using your podcasting services.
You know what? That's great. I can go back to being a normal person again. I don't have to talk about how like people use stamps still in the 21st century. Or like sit on expensive mattresses or anything.
We wish you the best.
You lost your corporate sponsorship?
Yeah, I did.
That was everything! I invested our entire life savings in bingo coupons because you had money coming in.
That was probably a poor decision.
Yeah, well, having you was a poor decision.
Thanks, Mom.
You're not my son.
So, like, now that you're not busy with your podcast, do you want to go hang out tomorrow?
Yeah, what time?
Oh, like 2.
Works for me. I don't have anything else going on.
Okay.
Epilogue. Yeah, I found out that I really wasn't the better Dan. Not even close. Even in failure, Danny ended up being a better man than I did. I guess I'm just gonna live with my mom in the basement for the rest of my life, or hers at least.
You know, podcasting's not all it's cracked up to be. I mean, I did all these things and got myself really famous and then had to do all these sponsorship things for products that nobody actually buys. It was crazy, oh my god. So I gave it all up. And then I started a Twitch stream.
I had a real best friend for 2 days. It felt like 3 years. It was the best thing ever that happened to me. And then, I don't know, he stopped calling.
The end. Thank you. We're Reservoir Frogs. This has been by the